Representing the city's Uniformed Firefighters Association gather outside of his residence.
This is really an absolutely unnecessary threat to the lives of New Yorkers.
Hundreds showed up at Grace Mansion Thursday as they marched in opposition of the mayor's mandate, joined by politicians as well as other union members. Union members say there's already a staffing shortage as it is, and 3,500 FDNY members now face unpaid leave if they don't receive the first jab by a 5 o'clock deadline on Friday night, along with thousands of other city workers.
This city is going to look very different on November 1st. You're going to see dozens and dozens of firehouses closed. You're going to see response times climb. It is inevitable. Lives are going to be lost.
Officials say around 64% of firefighters have been vaccinated, along with 75% of the NYPD. And the mandate could force the FDNY to undergo significant closures, leaving 20% of ambulances off the streets.
Hello, Blondie.
A California airport reopens its airways following a security incident. Authorities on Thursday responded to reports of a suspect with a firearm in Terminal 1 at the Los Angeles International Airport. Officials grounded flights as 300 passengers self-evacuated from the terminal, with 2 people sustaining minor injuries. Officials say 2 suspects are in custody, adding there's no threat and no active shooter at the
you
airport.
always need the police when you need them.
Still to come on One American News, a U.S. official is now saying protecting Taiwan is a top priority, how the Taiwanese government is responding. Plus, several Republican lawmakers are looking to hold Dr. Fauci accountable. More
Put him in jail.
Next.
Now, when Dr. Fauci's asked about it, he says, oh yeah, he's still in favor of sending your money to China to do this research. I think that's a terrible idea, and it may well
Fucking
be
Fauci.
the cause.
Senator Rand Paul is ramping up calls to hold Fauci accountable for inhumane animal testing and gain-of-function research. During a virtual town hall this week, the Kentucky lawmaker took questions about Fauci, COVID vaccines, and other top issues
Put him
facing
in
his
jail.
constituents. He slammed Fauci and healthcare officials for allegedly withholding certain COVID treatments from Americans to promote vaccines.
I don't agree with these restrictions coming from Dr. Fauci, but you may run into them, so be aware if you or somebody in your family gets sick, ask for the monoclonal antibodies and try not to get admitted to the hospital before they've given you the infusion of the monoclonal antibodies. In addition to these antibody treatments, there's also another treatment called inhaled steroids.
Paul said he does not believe the Democrat administration will hold Fauci accountable and stressed Republicans must step up their efforts to get to the truth. Congressman Jim Jordan is calling on the DOJ to investigate federal funding of gain-of-function research. One America's John Hines has more from Washington.
You have called on the Attorney General Garland to initiate a Department of Justice investigation after EcoHealth Alliance. This is regarding Dr. Fauci, the National Institutes of Health. Apparently they gave a lot of money to this group called EcoHealth Alliance, and they didn't
Trump
report
never
back
liked
or follow
Fauci.
the reports they were supposed to, and they weren't supposed to be doing gain-of-function research.
Yep.
It appears there's evidence they were. You're asking for an investigation. What do you hope to find, sir?
Well, something that has disrupted our lives, caused the deaths of, close now to 700,000 Americans.
It's clear to you there was gain-of-function research going on. Is that
Yeah.
your conclusion?
Yeah,
I think.
we think we need
And that's
to know
based
how this.
on-
We think we need to know how this started,
Mhm.
and did in fact it was part of the start of this done with American tax dollars. So it sure seems to be, the evidence seems to be pointing in that direction, because we gave EcoHealth, American tax money went to EcoHealth.
Evil
They were
people in
supposed to not
high
do gain-of-function
places.
research. If they did, they were supposed to notify the National Institute of Health, and they were supposed to do periodic reports about the progress of their research. So for 2 years they were out of compliance, and they did what appears to be gain-of-function research didn't notify NIH, and during that 2-year time frame when they weren't complying with the grant, they got $21 million more dollars of American tax money. And so when NIH told us all this last week, I found that interesting that the day they told us this in a letter to the Republicans in Congress, that very day on their website they changed the definition of what gain-of-function research is, which is pretty troubling. Now, why wouldn't we invite Mr. Daszak, the head of EcoHealth, who got this money? Why wouldn't we invite him in for, or not even invite him, subpoena him in so we could ask him questions? In fact, the Washington Post editorial board wrote a piece yesterday saying that's exactly what should happen, but Democrats won't do it. It seems to me the only ones who don't want to know how this virus started and where it started are Democrats in Congress. And I raised this yesterday in the committee hearing. Said, we're the select committee on coronavirus. We're the only select committee on coronavirus in the entire Congress. And we're not going to try to find out how the virus started. Seems to be the dumbest thing in the world, but that's the decision that the Democrats keep making.
You and Mr. Comer, two of the top guys on oversight, the Oversight Committee, are called on A.G. Garland to initiate an investigation after these reports of...
I don't know if we'll do what we want, but...
Did Mr. Fauci lie? Has Mr. Fauci lied?
Of course he's
Time and
lying.
time again. Remember,
Dr. Fauci.
He knew on, one time he even admitted, he said, well, I told you about the mask issue because I was concerned about something else, and that's why I said
Weasel.
one thing, but it was really, what is that? So he knew on January 31st, 2020, he gets an email from Dr. Christian Anderson, one of the guys who he's given out our tax dollars to, and that email says, virus looks engineered, virus not consistent with evolutionary theory, which is a fancy way of saying this thing came from a lab. So right from the start, Fauci was on notice that this thing probably came from a lab. And what did he do for the last year and a half? He downplayed that. No, it didn't come from a lab. Because I think they were trying to cover their backside for exactly what came out last week with EcoHealth. So I think he misled us there. He said one mask, two masks, no mask, 3 masks, 1 mask. He's been all over the place there. He won't give us a number. Like, well, if we get to this level of quote herd immunity, then we'll be fine. I asked him the simple question: what measure, what standard, what metric do we have to reach before we stop with all the mandates? And he won't give an answer to that. So yeah, this guy's misled us all along, and why he is still in the job.
Put him in jail.
Congressman Jim Jordan of 4th District, Ohio, who is the author.
Bye, Blondie.